Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Journey to Wisdom and Wealth. My name is Tara. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. You know you're already part of the what? Grateful gang, gang, gang. Grateful gang, 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 gang. Grateful gang, gang, gang. Grateful gang, 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 gang. And if you're not a part of Grateful Gang, we would love to have you over here. We'd be very grateful to have you. It's free 99. It costs you nothing. Zip, still zero, nada. Just hit the red subscribe button. If you're not new here, don't forget to hit me a thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up, y'all. Comment down in the comment section. Let your girl know what's up. And don't forget to make sure your notification bell is on. Now the church announcements are done and finished. Our video today is going to be one that has been requested a couple of times, but it seemed like the right time to do it since we're starting into a new year. And if you want to create your own simple budget Google sheet, this is one that I use all the time. Y'all see me use it all the time. It's very simple. It's very easy for me. But I know there's some people that are not super good with function keys and creating equations and things like that. It's not that hard on here, and I'm going to break it out as simple as I can. So this is why we're looking at a blank screen today. If you see me look over here a little bit, that's where my original one, because normally, y'all, I just copy and paste it. Okay. But this is the page for our 2024 budget. So let's get started because I really don't want this video to be longer than like 30 minutes. We're not going to be here that long. So at the top, I'm just going to write Tara's 2024 budget. Okay. And then here, I'm going to write my income. Okay. Because at the top is going to be all of my income. 2, 3, 4. I'm not going to do the whole thing. So I'm just going to drag across for a little bit. And I'm going to make this bold. So if I have everything, I went too fast, didn't I? Let me undo. If you're here, you select the cell and then you see the little crosshair, like a plus, and then you just drag it across and that will copy the entire same thing. If you can't figure that out, if you don't want to do that, you can right click and you can hit the word copy. You can select all the cells you want to copy to, and then you can Control V, or you can do paste. Okay, that's how you copy across. And now what I want to do is make everything bold. So I'm going to highlight everything and I'm going to use this B button for bold, or you can do Control B as you saw. Then over here, I think I need to be in actually and cell D. So I'm going to take this one out. I don't need this here. So over here in cell C, because I wanted to write all my income. So I'm going to have my main check. You can call this whatever you want. Paycheck 1, paycheck 2, main check, whatever you want to do. So this is going to be my main check. This is going to be my side hustle. This is going to be my miscellaneous. So any extra money that comes in outside of the side hustle, somebody sends me money, things like that. This is going to be my roll or trans. This meaning my rollover money or my transfer money for my checks. And then this will be the total income. All right. Now, I'm going to also make these and highlight these, and I'm going to make them bold. For this part, I'm going to go ahead and I want to drop a backdrop color. I think I'm going to go with blues this year because I actually like the way that looks. So I selected all the cells I want to select. This is the fill color button, and I'm just going to choose one that I want. If you want to choose something special, you can do custom. And then you can choose, like, say I want to be in the blue color wheel. I would move this down to the blues and I would choose something I want. And I would say, okay, that is a little too dark for me. So I'm just going to choose from one that's already here. And under the dark blue, I want to go with that kind of lightish color blue. Is that the blue I want? No, I think I want this blue. So this is the blue, this icy blue. I'm going to try to remember it's 1, 2, 3, 4 down. So, because I can't ever remember where my blues are at. So I'm going to do the same for this. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. Okay. And then my next thing is going to be a formula. So all of these, if you see how the word income is a little over the line, all you have to do is select the column and double click there. You see how you got the double rows here, like the double arrows back inside? If you just double click that, it'll make anything the same length as the word. I don't want that to change, but I did want that one to change. Okay. And so then next we're going to go ahead And I want everything under the income to be in money signs or dollar as currency. So here we have the dollar sign right here, format as currency. You just click that and it's already done. You see it's saving the drive. It automatically saves, which is another thing I love about Google. All right, so here in the total income, you're going to need a formula so that it adds everything here, your main check, your side hustle, your miscellaneous, and rollovers to this column. The formula is very simple. There is a button here for more, and this is for the function sum. These are for all your functions. You have sum, average, count, max, all of that. You need the sum. And then all you do is once you have there's in the parentheses, you're going to just select the columns you want to add. And that's it. And then you hit tab. Now, if my main check was, let's say, $1,500, there's $1,500. If my side hustle brought in $100, it updated it to $1,600. If I made $50 miscellaneously and I rolled over $30, you'll see that all of these four are a total of $1,680, which is already totaled for you. In order to travel all of this down your cells, how many ever cells you're making, you just do the same thing. And once you get the plus, you drag that over. As you can see, it's going to be zeros because all it did was drag the formula and moved it to sum of E and F and all of that. So that's that simple formula. That's it. Most of my formulas are sums. Like they're not anything too crazy. So if you can find where the function sum is, you're good. So over here is where I write due, and that's where all my due dates are. I leave this one blank. And then I write amount because that's how much each thing is. And then this is like the description box. So whether it's an expense or it's a debt or something like that, that's where that's going to go. And then this is my dates. I am going to put what check I'm talking about here. So the first check, let me look at my calendar. The first check for me for 2024, my gosh, that's so weird to say because I got a check of December 29th. So the next check for me is going to be January 12th and then January 26th. So I'm going to 01 12 24 and I'm going to do 01 26 24. Is that what I said? Y'all know I don't be knowing. Let's just double check. 12 and the 26. Oh yeah, that's what I said. So we're just going to work with these right now. And now I don't know if there's an easier way to do this so it copies all the way down, but I actually look at my calendar and get all my dates and I write them in manually. But I also, so when I do this here, I don't want this to look like this. So I'll click the link or I'll click the two that I'm working on. Let's say we're working on these 2 weeks for January. And obviously if you have weekly, you can just make these longer. And then you the 12th or the whenever the first week you get, you'll have 5 and I only have 2. So this really works for me for bi-weekly because it doesn't get too long. And then I'll do like one sheet that's like the first quarter or the second quarter, third quarter in different tabs. It depends on whatever you want to do, but it's the same. So 1, 12, 24, let's say I want these to be dates and I don't want them to look like this. So I'm going to format them, excuse me, into a number format of a date. It don't look like it changed anything. No, hold on, y'all. No wonder I can't do that. I'm sorry, that's not what I do. Normally what I do is I do the range. So mine would go 01 12 to 01 25 24. I'm like, I don't think I have the range, but I don't even do 24. And that's how I set my things up. So I know what date range it's going from. So this would be 01 26. And then it would go to whichever the next day that I get paid is. So that date would be the February 9th, 0209. So this just requires some background on your stuff, but then I do make that centered. So I highlight that and then I want it to be centered. So here on the alignment, it's going to the left right now. I do center and I want them to be centered like that. So I would do that across the board and fill in the range of the dates that I want for my year. And also I'm going to fill this in blue, which we talked about already. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excuse me. Now, if you, for me, like I will say, okay, my main check, I think it's going to be 1,500 each time. You can do the same thing. You can drag that across and it'll just copy down. What is next? So then under description, and then I'll copy the color all the way over as well. One thing I don't like about this is I wish that if the last fill color that you had was the last fill color that stayed up there, like that should stay. Anyway, so then we would copy down your expenses. So first I do expenses. I'm not going to write in all of these because I don't want them to be super long. Actually, I may just copy and paste from like my other page. So, and then you would put your due dates here. I'm going to make this a pink, just to kind of just to say that it's something different. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep down. Oh, don't like that. Let's do that one. I don't like that either. Let's go with a gray. Okay, I'm okay with that. I don't know which one it was though. Is the third from the left. Okay, so here it's expenses. And I'm going to actually make that bold. You don't have to do that. You can do bold, italicized, anything you want to do. You can just leave it plain for all I care. It doesn't matter. So you're going to put your due dates, and I am going to just copy and paste a few just so we can have an example. Let's say we'll do the first couple. And you could just type in whatever you want. I don't want to do that. So is that just made the weird things. First, 4th, 13. Okay. And so let's say we're working with those few expenses. You write however you want. Like you could put the full date, whatever you want to do, right? And then the expenses I was referencing were the mortgage, the gym, the cell phone, water, right? Water bill. Now, you can always change your characters. You highlight and you can go into default and change your font to Comforter, Impact, all the different fonts they have. I'm not going to do that right now. If you have any questions about that, you can definitely let me know down in the comments if you do. So let's move on. And then we're just going to put what the amounts for these are on a monthly basis. I'm just going to fill mine in real quick. Okay, and because I know that this amount section, I also would like these to be centered. So I'm going to select all of those and choose the alignment to center. And I actually think I want all of these to be bold as well. So I'm just going to make them bold. I think I want this to actually be italicized. So, okay, now we have, let's say these were all my expenses. You're going to do the same. These are not all my expenses, but let's just say they were all my expenses. This is optional. You can do a total of your expenses at the bottom. I don't think that's necessary. I would just separate them by whatever, but if you by each category, but if you did want one, you could do total expenses here, and then you could do the same thing that adds some more, unless it shows across the top for you, functions, sum, and you're just going to sum all of the things together. So the sum of these right now is 14 something. Now I know I want my amount to be all in money, so I'm going to select all of that, and then I'm just going to choose the currency, and you'll see it'll automatically make it money, right? And so now I'm going to just make that gray so it kind of stands out, and this is my total in expenses for now for this example. Then the next thing I'm going to do is debt, right? That's going to be my next one. I'm going to actually make this one centered as well. The little things you can do on your own, choose how you want it to look, and all of that. And I might even change my mind when I'm done. But then next I'm going to do debt, right? And then I'm going to put all the debts that I have and how much they are. So we're just going to put a few, right? We're just going to choose a few of mine, and then you do the same thing. So let's say this is my Home Depot card. This is my Ulta card. And this is my Saver card. Or let's make this my cart payment, because cart payment technically is under my debt category, right? And then I'm just going to fill out the amounts that it is. Right now, there's nothing on my these, and the car is 467. Okay. And then I would do the same thing, total debt. Right. And then I would do the sum again, and I would get the sum of all of these. I'm sorry, I would do the sum and hit the sum, and then you select all of these, same thing. I'm not even gonna bother to make them all really cute or pretty or whatever. I'm just trying to give you guys then an idea. Okay. Now, the next section that I personally have is variables, savings, and savings. So I'm going to fill those off the camera and just going to add a few things in there. And then we'll come back and talk about the next formula, because the savings and the variables is going to be the same thing. The sum. Also, just a reminder, when you're doing these, remember that you're calculating out your monthly. So if you get paid weekly and you're only doing $20 or $30 per week for gas, make sure to multiply that by 4 on the regular pay months, and then 5 on the double, and the same for biweekly. If you're doing it, multiply it by 2 or by 3 on that extra pay month. Okay, I was just reminded of that while I was doing this. And as you can see right here, total variables is not showing properly. So again, you can do the same thing, go to the edge of that column and double click, and that will do that. And just for right now, we'll say the last section is savings. All right, guys, so I filled out a little bit in each section, and over here I just added the word monthly because those are not on due dates. They're just what the monthly rate is for each one of these things, right? And so I actually added a different color for my totals because for some reason I decided that's what I wanted to do at the last moment. So then I skip a line normally when I'm doing this, and then I move on to total expenses. And then total income. And then my next column is buffer, rollover, or roll, and then balance. We could do a zero-based budget, so we really always want our balance to be zero overall. But sometimes it's not, and in this case, it probably won't because these numbers are ridiculous. So in this case, okay, guys, so in this case, our total expenses, which I'm going to make these all darker and blue because I'm me. And what I would do in order to get my total expenses, because to me, my total expenses is everything. These expenses plus the debt, plus the variable, plus the savings. So in order to make that formula, I should have probably made this a little bit bigger. Hold on, y'all. Control plus. Sorry. So in order to make this formula a little bit bigger, not a big old, in order to make this actual formula, all you do is you press the equal sign. Most formulas that aren't already in the little drop down start with equal. So you equal sign, and then all these totals I'm going to select. So equal this, and then I'm going to hold the control button down so I can select not in a row, and I'm going to select this, scroll down, let go of the control button when you're scrolling, because then it'll make your screen up and down, and then select the control button again before you select your next item. And then once you selected all the ones you want, so you see right here this highlighted, you have the total expenses, the total debt, the total variable, and the total saved selected, then you're going to hit tab, and we have an error for what reason, I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. We're just doing the sum. So you're just going to use your same sum. I'm telling you, the sum is everything. You hit the sum button again, and then you're going to hit control and select all your stuff. Control, or you could hit equal to write the word sum and then done all this. But same thing. Control, let it go, select control, and control, let it, and select your thing, and then let go of the control button. And you see, do I have everything selected? No, I missed this one. Okay, so I have all of them selected. You'll see them in highlighted, and then I'm going to hit tab, and there we go. So that all of our expenses that we have loaded right now are $2,457. Total income is basically just whatever is up here. So you're just going to want this one to equal D9. This is D9. So this is row 9, column D. The amount that's here is what you want it to equal. So all you're going to do in this section is write equal D9. And there is your total, 1680. All right. And then the buffer rollover is a really nothing in there on this side, but we'll make a formula for it over here. And then the balance that we have is, really should be one in buffer rollover. The balance that we have, the formula is the C32 minus C50. Wait a minute, let me think about that, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. Over here in your total income, because it's not, we don't really want it to pull it from the totals of the weeklies. We're doing the monthly section. So what I want to know is how much it is monthly. So let's say I think it's going to be 1680. My formula is going to be equals 1680 times 2. And that's what I would make in a month. So then my balance here would be equals my income minus my expenses. So C33 minus C32. And it says to me I have $902.68. And that's the balance. But included in here, I would like to subtract out this, right? This balance buffer. So really the formula here is equals C33 minus C32 minus C34, because this should be everything subtracted from whatever's left over as well. Your total amount minus your expenses minus anything you have left over, because the point is to get this to zero. I wish I had $902 left over, but let's say I decided to go ahead and add 900 and I wanted to add $902. So wait, undo. Let's say we have $2 here, right? I'm going to add an equal in front of this 2, and then I'm going to add $902.86. You see how that says, no, Navy Federal got good. I should have gave that to the HVAC. Wait a minute. So if you want to add another formula in a cell that's already there, you put an equal in front of the number that you're adding to. Then you just add or minus or multiply. So adding $902.86. Let's say I got a lot of extra money and I'm going to add to my HVAC fund. But as you can see, here is $0. You want $0. Now this is really doing nothing here, because you really use the balance buffer more for this section. It'll roll down. Okay. Let us continue on. So here we've got basically our left side set up, which will show us our full monthly view of expenses, debt, variables, all that. If you want to get into the weeklies, so whether you're doing it weekly or bi-weekly, then you just fill out your information like normal. So I'm just going to basically copy and paste. Like there's going to be this section over here where we're not even going to worry about that, right? Because we don't have we're not doing total expenses. We don't care about this expense part. So we're only filling out the lines that matter. So for this one, let's say I have 2 checks, so I'm not paying 12 something over time. I'm probably going to take that 12.25.96 and divide it into 2, right? Rude. Because now I've got 2 paychecks to pay my monthly bills. $12.25.96 divided by 2. And let's say that's $612.98 each month, each paycheck. So I'm going to go ahead and fill in these numbers, and then I'll be right back. So as I was filling in, I realized that I did not make all of these sections money. So at this point, I would select everything, and you guys got the gist of this, everything that's going to be in the section where I'm going to put money, which is all of them, and I'm just going to make them all money. As you can see, that's not money. All right, guys. So now I've filled in all I could for my first 2 paychecks in January, or however they're going to go, right? And so now I decided that I'm going to copy this color across because these are blank, and I might copy the gray across as well, just because they're blank and we're not expected to fill them in. We're just expected to go across with the mortgage and the sell, all of that. So now I split most things because it's bi-weekly. So I split them in, and the cell phone is due here and the water's due here and so on and so forth. And then I made everything else 0. Normal stuff. So now for total expenses, we want to add everything at the top, right? So we're going to do that same button for the sum. I'm telling you, it's your friend. And anything above this column gets added in this particular cell D, right? Doesn't have to go up to expenses. And then we're going, once we have all the columns we want selected, we're going to hit tab. So basically 175109 is everything that you wrote in on all of these, okay? And then what you do is the same thing. You highlight the cell, and then you're going to find the little plus and you're going to drag across. So that's going to continue the formula. See how that 16809 transferred down? That's all of these. If you look at the formula, it's E12 to E31. This is E31. This is E12. So from the top to the bottom. If you add in any cells, make sure you check your formula has every cell that you're working on. Okay? Like I said, if you need any help, hit me up. Total income. This one, honestly, all I would do is do an equal sign for where the total income is right here. And that's what I was showing you before. That's your total income. It's whatever this total income is. And so you're going to do the same thing. Once you're here, you're going to get your little dot and you're going to move across. And all of them will follow down. That's what we had, right? Okay. And now we're going to go to the buffer balance. Like I said before, the buffer balance really is not a total. I don't have it as a formula. If you know a better way, let me know. I don't have it as a formula in my spreadsheet. What I have as a formula in my spreadsheet, this is actually to me a holding place. So whatever this balance comes up as, this is where I would put it. This is what I'm saying is either in my buffer or my rollover, and it's sitting there. So this does not have a formula in it. Now, as far as balance goes, it's the same as this, pretty much. It's whatever's in this cell minus whatever's in this cell. So if I drag this over, it'll tell me that something is wrong. But you just take this and then you drag it over. And that's what's like. We didn't budget anything on this one. So we had a total income. We didn't have any expenses. So it's saying we have a balance of $1,500. Okay. And then over here, so this is a net. We don't want that, right? We don't want where our income is less than our total expenses. So for me, something like that would mean that I need to take away $612.98 and subtract it from what's down there, which is 7109. And I would make this one 541.89. And as you can see, it's now at a zero-based budget. Zero. And so then I would just add 71.89 to this number and still be able to pay my full mortgage. I hope you guys are getting that and that makes sense to you. Okay, so I added 7109 to this. So these two together still equals 1225.96, which is the amount of my mortgage, but it just means I have to put less and more, and then I'm at a zero-based budget if I split everything correctly and worked out. Now, y'all know from watching my budget, it doesn't always work out correctly, and we have to move money around or add money into the buffer. But honestly, guys, that is the gist of my budget. That is how I set up my budget. Yes, it does take a little while, some time to fill in the dates and things like that. There may be easier ways to do it. Let me know down in the comments if you have any tricks for me on putting dates and things like that. And you can buy these things on Etsy. They're not as simple most times, and I like a very simple budget. So for those who are asking, I hope this was informational and helpful to you. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment. That is how I do my simple budget. The only other thing I would do is probably select this, and I'm just going to select it over what is here right now. And I would probably merge my cells. This is the merge cells button. And I would just move this to the middle and make it bigger and all of that. Oh, and the only other thing I would do was lock the rows. So I would lock this row here. I'd select this row and then I would go to data and I would go to, is it data? No, it's view. I'm sorry. I would go to view. Then I'd go to freeze and I would go up to row 10. And so you'll see that when I move, it doesn't move. Okay, it doesn't move. And I would do the same thing with column C. If I'm on C, I'm going to go to view and I'm going to freeze up to column C. Oh, and because I've done this here, I'm going to have to unmerge that. But I would, if I didn't, it would be fine. freeze column C. And that way, when I move left or right, I still see what my normal expenses were. Okay. And I think that was an important one. I'm glad I remembered. But that's how I do it, y'all. Bye.